Oh, it's hot. Hot, hot. Let's see. Okay. Set up the camera. Nice. How you doing, guys? Oh, it's hot. I'm sweating. Doing, guys? I'm back from McDonald's. We got two cheeseburgers and just say it. Haley, hi. Dancy, what's up? Cyrus, welcome back. Hello, hello. What makes military life worth it? For money. Calibron, what's up? Dancy, you're actually pretty late because I had a live video like an hour ago. So this is like the part 2 because I left to get cheeseburgers from McDonald's. Born, lol. Caliborn. Oh, Caliborn. I thought it was Calibron. How was McDonald's? It was lit. How's your day been? It's alright. When I was at McDonald's, so we were at the drive-thru, and my friend, his name is CQ, he was in the front. He was on the where the speaker is, where he is taking orders. So we're like, oh, my friend Ed and I were like, oh, that's CQ. So we went out. I went out, got in front of his car, started like dancing and stuff, trolling around, and then cars behind it, they're like, hi, and laughing. Hi, Estella. My feces are not. I don't. The only time I get like some severe diarrhea is when I drink a lot of dairy. I'm shooting for LS after boot camp and A school. There's deployment too. LSs get deployed a lot because, every ship needs an LS. Last time I couldn't have to pay for child support. Oh my goodness. Hey man, what's up, man? I'm alright, future Army guy. Where did you get stationed? I am in Virginia, on board USS Abraham Lincoln. I feel like before going to boot camp, you should have a lot of discipline. Do you think that's true? It definitely helps. But there's a lot of people in boot camp that like had no discipline, and they got like the most improved sailor award, which is pretty stupid because the people who are disciplined, people who are squared away, at least for me, my division didn't get recognized. But if you're disciplined in general, it helps out your Navy career, because at least it helped me out. I got 2 awards, and I'm one of the top rising sailors within my ship, compared to other people. Like, I just got my evaluation. So every year you get an eval, and I've been working hard and doing my stuff, and I got #1 EP, so #1 in my division, the top sailor. So that's awesome. So I got a ton of points for the test. So everything is aligned for me to make 3rd class this September. So I should be E4 by the end of this year. Yeah. So Caliborn, you are in the Navy, right? So yeah, I'm #1 #1 EP sailor for my division. So I got like 4.2 from the eval, and I have 2 points from the NAM, the award, so like I don't know, 6.2, and I got a ton of points for the test. So pretty much I'm gonna make, I do not have the air warfare pin. I have the surface warfare pin, but not the air warfare yet. I feel like, okay. I know, like I don't know why RDCs look for the most improved recruits. That's such a shame. Caliborn, thank you for your kind words. It's like if I was an RDC and they said you have to pick the most improved recruit, it's like, why? So it's almost, it seems to me like it's incentivized for sailors to come in as a dirtbag and, act like a dirtbag and by the end of boot camp, try to, be the most, improved sailors. So it's like you can fake it and then you'll make it and you'll get recognized for it. It's like, why? It's like, come on. The people who are already squared away, the people who are already like doing what's told, they should be the ones getting recognized and promoted. It's bullcrap. What do you think the odds of an AD being on the ship are? I don't even know what an AD is. I know they pretty much can be stationed anywhere, but there are... What's AD? Like, is it aviation, whatever? What is? Spell it out for me. How much time do you give yourself to study before a test? Imperial Muffin, I should be studying now. I really haven't. I should be. So one thing, you have to know your study style. Like for me, aviation machinist mates, oh man, I see them a lot in the ship where I am, carrier. I see them a lot. So, like, you have to know, like, how to study. Like, you have to know, like, what's the best way for you to study. Like, for me, the best way is to study, like, 10 note cards, 10 vocabulary words a day. So, yeah, like, I start out from 10 vocabulary, and then, the next day, I memorize another 10, and I review the notes, the 10 from the day before, and then I memorize the 10 from the day, and then the next day the 10, next day 10, and then keep reviewing in a whole stack. So the stack starts from 10, then 20, then 30, then 40, 50, So like that's one way I study better. I think it just makes so they want to continue being hard workers instead of back to being undisciplined. Petty officers here on my base say that there are more dirtbags in surface, especially in undead rate. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Even undeads, like there are people that are not the brightest. There are people that, at least, where the supply department, like where I am, like LSs, SHs, and CSs, there are very disrespectful people. But, even at here, there are some, very outgoing, bright people. So the way I look at it, the higher the ASVAB score, like the nukes and all that kind of stuff, the more disciplined they are, the more, they get it. They understand, like, hey, we're in the military. The lower the ASVAB, it's like, hey, I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I want type. At least that's just how I look at it. Did you train physically before boot camp? Yes, I've always worked out. Physically, I deteriorated being in the military. Before I left for boot camp, I was pretty fit, but now I kind of need to work out a lot more. You know anything about EM rates? EM nuke? I don't know too much about EMs. Where does Undes work? Like, do they just follow where the work is? No, they work for boatswain mates, BMs. So in my ship, they do a lot of the like the dirty work. Um, like if a space needs to be painted, a lot of they take some deck department people and put them in the paint team. Um, Whatever the BMs do, like they just on theirs a lot of from what I see, they do a lot of grunt work. What do you think the Navy has PRT standards so people don't get overweight? If many jobs don't require physical or combative labor, I mean, it's like you can't be overweight in the military. Like one of the biggest reasons is in the ships, right? Where I am in the carrier. For example, let's say there's a flooding, right? There's a missile strikes the side of the ship, and water's coming in. The procedure is you lock up every single hatch, right? Every single door. It's like it's a watertight hatch, right? And to go up and down, it's a small hole. Maybe I don't know exactly how small, but it's a very small hole. Somebody who's very big is not going to get through. Guaranteed. Unfortunately, maybe if you have some butter around the fat, and then they'll squeeze through. But if the ship is flooding and the person is stuck and they can't get through because they're overweight, they're just going to drown. Unfortunately. So one of the biggest reasons for Navy PRT is making sure people are not overweight or getting overweight. It prevents that from happening. Is it just me or the stream cutting out a lot? It could be my internet. No, it's definitely me. My friend's house doesn't have the best internet in the world, but yeah, it's definitely my internet. Christian, do you think corpsmen's a good rate? A lot of people do it. A lot of people seem to enjoy it. Donnie is doing it. He seems to enjoy it. What is it? Nikki, MGTV does it, seems to enjoy it. Or at least is taking a good, taking advantage of it. I think, when you're a corpsman, like, from looking at Donnie and Nikki, as long as you get stationed in the right place, you have a lot of time to go to school. This place, it's free. That's why it's crappy. It's free, that's why the internet's so crappy, Let me upload something. Actually. Cut. Segments. Paste. Okay. I'm leaving in a month in a rate of SECF. What do you think about submarines? Alexander, I think submarines are pretty cool. I think you're definitely going to get claustrophobic and you might definitely not like it. I think it's a cool experience to do for like 4, 5, or 6 years, however long your contract is. Probably 6 years since you're going to the subs, or 5 years at least. But I mean, whether you like it or not, get as much experience as you can. Subs seems pretty cool. Mike Zoo, what's up? What's a good way to get disciplined before going to boot camp? Anna, and working out every day, right? And studying for the military, that study guide every day. That's step number 1. Step number 2, making sure you work out every day, making sure workout is a part of your life, right? What is A school like on a daily routine? Is it more classroom based like college, or is it like boot camp, physical most of the time? No, it's a lot. For me, A school, right? We would work out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, we would work out like it was either Tuesday or Thursdays, but I think we would work out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The day before the day started, for like 2 hours, we would just run around base. And then after that, I think for A school, it depends on where you go. For me, as LS, my A school was, after class, after workout, we take a shower, we go to class, and we would sit in class for like an hour, like for 50 minutes, we take a 10-minute break. There was an instructor teaching us, hey, this is what you need to know. Former Navy, right? Former, LS. This is what you need to know. This is what you need to do. And it was definitely a cool environment. And then most of our stuff was online, called NKO, Navy Knowledge Online. So it's like almost like an online college / in-person college, because there was an instructor, but there was all the assignments and stuff was online, so it was pretty integrated. So hybrid. Do you know if QM is popular rate on Des managed to strike? QM is a rate, maybe it's not the most popular thing, but on Des people, I've seen them go, QM, LS, CS, HS, SH, IT, HT. Yeah. What's your favorite time? What's your most favorite time in the Navy? Saul James, welcome back. My most favorite time in the Navy was when I first started. When I was living, like a year ago, when I was posting videos at a building, it's called Huntington Hall, and that was one of my best times. I loved it there. How important is your ASVAB test once you're enlisted? Dylan, as long as you get your ASVAB score for the rate you want, after that, it's really, once you get to your ultimate command, they might look at it, say like, hey, this guy is smart, let me have him, or let's put him here or let's put him there. But yeah, how good as that score is, it's good to have. It's not the end of the world if you don't have a bad ASVAB. You don't have to be the smartest person. In boot camp, do they teach you how to swim? How does that work? Yes, Christian. They teach you how to swim. They teach you the elementary backstroke, which, pretend I'm in the water right now. Then, it's basically like this. They teach you how to backstroke. If you don't know how to swim, get into the pool now and learn how to swim. You don't want to learn how to swim when you're in boot camp because you might fail. What do you know about UT rates? I don't know anything about UT rates. Very bad connection. I'm pretty sure I'm getting choppy, right? Do I get reception on the ship? No, not where I am. Is the Navy boot camp like Navy office training? Sal, I don't know what you mean. Office training. Navy boot camp? No. It's completely different. Navy office training is called ROTC. No, not ROTC. OCS, Officer Candidate School. Yeah. But then the training is completely different. It's much more strict at OCS. I don't know exactly to what standard, but you need to have a good, at least a good high on your PRT score. I will have the option to swim more so I can... Will I have the option to swim more so I can stay a good swimmer? Chuck, you don't have the option. If you can't pass the swim test, they're going to put you as what's called the swimmers. which they're going to teach you how to swim. But if you pass swim tests, then after that you're never going to really swim for the rest of your Navy career unless you're in that rate. If you're living in the ship, is it difficult to find time to communicate with civilians like friends? No. Most likely, for me, like in the ship, I don't get reception, right? So I just go outside the ship and make phone calls, which, once I go to the hangar bay, the middle of the ship where it's wide open from everywhere, I get reception. So it's not that difficult. When will you be next to upload? I upload every day. I upload at least twice a day, every day. When will I be deployed? I don't know. Even if I knew, I can't tell you. When do you get a chance to try out for Navy SEALs? Do they send you an invitation? No, they do not send you an invitation. If you want to try out for Navy SEALs, right, you go to your recruiter and you say, hey, I want to try out for the Navy SEALs. And then your recruiter is going to connect you with the Special Warfare Training instructor. And you take what's called the PST, Physical Screening Test. And the physical screening test is much more higher of a standard than the regular PRT and the PFA that the normal enlisted people do. And then you take it. If you pass the PST, then you get a separate contract, and that's how you get shipped out. But if you are coming in, for example, right, Mike, if I want to be a Navy SEAL now, I say, hey, I'm motivated, let me try out for Navy SEAls. Then I would request to take the PST, find the instructor, and then if I pass and I continue to pass and I meet all the qualifications, then they'll give me separate contract to go to pre-buds, and then I think I go back to Great Lakes. Yeah, I go back to Great Lakes boot camp, and then I go to pre-buds, then buds. Yeah, I think that's how it works. But no, you request it. You don't get an invitation. If I do ROTC, will like anyone ever join? Yes, you will come in as E3. Imperial Muffin, I'm not exactly too sure. I don't think so. I think you'll still get E3 no matter what. But that's something you can double check with a recruiter on if there are particular benefits. For example, if you want to join the Army, then you go to Army ROTC. And you ask an Army recruiter, hey, what does it correlate into something? So yeah. Does there always have to be a ship in every part of the world? For the most part, ideally, yes. Or at least around somewhere. Jeremy, Korea. What do you think you'll be doing if you were not in the military? I think I answered this. I don't know if you answered me. But I'd be probably doing an internship for a real estate agency or selling real estate and being in school right now, or probably graduated school by now. What's the most annoying thing you have to endure from the military? Is it taking orders? Saluting makes you feel constrained or trapped. In my experience, the most annoying thing is dealing with people that get favoritisms. It's big in the military. There are very disrespectful people in the military that that are very unprofessional, that are unfortunate. But those two would be the main thing. I can swim about a mile, and I have to be a good swimmer for my rate. Cool. Would I be able to swim more than often just to train? In boot camp, no. The drill sergeants scream at you, and what do you do in boot camp? The recruit training commanders in the Navy boot camp, they're not, at least my RDCs weren't that much of yellers. There are some people who yell a lot, but just depends on who you get. Some just yell a lot more than others. How long will you reach until your next promotion? Halo Man, I think I'll probably be E4 by the end of this year. So, taking my test September, I got EP and I got extra points from getting my awards. So yeah. What's the biggest myth about military? Like, was there anything you thought about when then you realized wasn't true when you joined? Yeah, people, when I joined the military, I thought people were going to be squared away. People were going to be respectful. People were going to be, when you do something wrong, they just say, hey, drop and give me 20, But that's not the true. That's not true at all. There are so many disrespectful people. There are so many people who are unprofessional, and if you don't like somebody, you can't just say, hey, drop it and give me 20, because that's called hazing. So, yeah. How do you make E3 in boot camp quickly? Christian, so to begin, you pass the depth test. When you sign up for the military in the Navy, right, you go to MEPS, and Military Entrance Processing Station, you pick a rate, and then at MEPS or your recruiter will give you a depth study guide, the later entry program study guide. And then when you are in boot camp, the first week you take the depth test, the later entry program test. So the depth study guide that they give you, it's based on that. And then, from E1, you make to E2, from E2 to make to E3, then you get a job in boot camp, a leadership position, whether it's RPOC, AROC, Master at Arms, Head PO, Laundry PO, Starboard Watch, Port Watch, Flag, any type of leadership position. That's how you come out as E3. There's no other way. Unless you're number one education from the whole 1,000 recruits that come in that week. You have to get like 99 on the ASVAB, and you can't fail one test. You can't even get one question wrong on the tests throughout boot camp. I'm proud of my depression and anxiety. Okay. Did anyone have a panic attack at boot camp? Yes, there was somebody who got a seizure or something like that, and then she got held back a week. What would you say the average enlisted love life? Average enlisted love life, there's a lot of people in the military get divorced. So, I've seen people get divorced 4 times. I've seen people get divorced 3 times. I've seen a 17-year-old, 18-year-old get divorced already. Definitely, when you're in the military, having a relationship, it's going to be difficult. But my advice, right, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, be in a relationship with them with at least 5 years before you decide to get married. A lot of people in the military get married really quick within a year or 2 for the money. And, money comes and goes. And if your relationship and your marriage is based on money, which comes and goes, so will your relationship. So, how many push-ups can you do? The last time when I took the PRT, I think it was like 86. From consuming energy drinks, stay away from that, guys. Yeah, I know that there was a guy who drank 5 monsters within like an hour, and his heart gave out. If I got a drug charge, was that later dismissed? How bad would that affect me entering the Navy? That would depend on the recruiter or the people at MEPS. Something that I can't really comment on. Is it easier having a social life if you're an officer? I would say less, because officers would technically work more hours than enlisted. But I mean, you could have a cooler social life. But I would be an officer all day long, really. Why'd you cut your hair? Because I wanted to, Ali. Because I wanted to make a video about it. What's your job? I'm a logistics specialist. I think you skipped my question. You said before physical fitness is important because they wouldn't be able to fit through the hatches. Besides obesity or weight, why is it important? I mean, I don't know all the other reasons. I mean, because when you're in the military, the ideal you should always be fit. So I think that's one of the reasons. But having those physical standards, makes you just prepared. If we go to war and we need you if they need me to hold a pistol and start shooting people, if I'm physically prepared, then and more agile, then they can use me better than somebody who's obese and who can't really run, who doesn't really have stamina, who doesn't really have endurance. Physical fitness is always important, all around in the military for many different reasons. Have you heard of people getting married just for the money? Yeah. Or try to get benefits? Yeah. And then they get divorced right after? Yeah. Yeah. There are people who are married and, just for the money, and they live separately and they act like they're single and keep dating other people, which is highly illegal, by the way. Favorite type of gun? I'm not a gun person, so the only gun I shot was a 9mm pistol. Can't get promoted to officer if you're enlisted. I leave in a few days. 20-year-old male. What do I bring for boot camp? You can only bring your wallet to boot camp. In boot camp, with your wallet. Check out my video on what to bring for boot camp. That has what you should have, including your social security card. So yeah, just watch that video. I don't want to explain again. I explained previously. Hey Yoon, do you think it's possible to buy a motorhome and a house and use the house as income property while you work odd jobs and profit from it? Yeah, as long as no one's going to steal your mobile house. What GI Bill do you think is better? I forgot exactly which one is better, Dylan, but I think the post 9/11, I think I heard was better. Kristen, you should ideally shoot for 70. Does everyone have to know how to fire a weapon? And yes, ideally yes. You don't have to be the most trained person, but there are people that go through boot camp without shooting 9mm pistol. When can you apply for buds? A bud is something you apply for, you try out for. Island blood. So, for example, let's say you want to be in Navy SEAL right now. Then you go to your recruiter and say, "Hey, I want to I want to try out for the buds for Navy SEALs." That's your step number 1 right there. ASVAB and AFQT, same thing. I don't know, but I guess so. ASVAB is all subject because it's just math and English. Okay, those I explained. My father was a networks communication manager, and he was issued a trainee to fire an M4. How will be electrician mates? They get exposed to asbestos. Surely they will won't get people. Yeah, they don't really use asbestos anymore in the Navy. And even there are places where there is asbestos, but they wear the proper equipment and masks and stuff, ventilation masks. Alright guys, I'm going to close it out pretty soon. I'm going to talk to my girlfriend. So if you have any last minute questions, let me know right now. What do you think about fidget spinners? I think they're pretty cool. Some people in the ship have it. People who made fidget spinners, the companies, I'm sure they made a lot of money. Yeah, they're not really technically allowed in the ship. There are places where it has asbestos, but yeah, I think they either got replaced or it's still there, but I don't know. I might walk away from my contract. I don't want no. Talk to my recruiter, and he said I gotta pick a normal job first. When can I apply for it? I'm not entirely too sure if that's true because my friend, he came in undez, right? He didn't have a job, and he tried out for buds, and he failed. Island Blood, I'm not entirely too sure if what your recruiter is saying is true, but if it is, then pick a job first, then do it, because that's really at the end of the day, if you want buds, if you want to be a SEAL, it's no different. What made you join the Navy? I thought about the ocean and traveling when I thought about the military. But yeah, Island Blood, if that's what your recruiter is saying, pick a job and then try out do the PST, and if you pass the PST, then you get a separate contract, and that's the end of that. What are you doing when I get out? Be in real estate or be a YouTuber? Were you scared before boot camp? Nope. How old do I have to be to join the Navy? I'm 12. I'm a 12 Canadian boy. Well, Saul, you have to be in America, number one. And also, you have to be at least 17 years of age with your parents' consent. Was boot camp hard for people who didn't work out regularly? Yes. It was definitely difficult for people. There were a lot of people who got held back. Take it easy, buddy. You got 4 or 6 years until life hits you. Greatest of all time, Hogan or Ric Flair? Hogan. Hulk Hogan. Do you think the black community is too hard on Trump when black unemployment is the lowest it's ever been in 2017 years ago? I don't really care about politics. I'm not trying to get into politics, but every president, right? Every president, in my opinion, every president, there are going to be people that love the president. There are going to be people that hate the president. There are going to be people that create social stuff and social videos, social media, all about how this president's bad and how this president should have been the best president. Even if Hillary Clinton won, it would have been the same deal as President Trump. Even if Bernie Sanders won, it would have been the same deal. He would have gotten the same crap, as President Trump would have. So work out 3 times a week with weights. Are there any sort of bullying in the Navy, and how often does it happen? Mike, I'm sure there is. I'm sure that's a very small percentage, but the Navy is very, very big on making sure that does not happen. And for me, in my personal experience, I have never seen that happen. In a carrier where it has about 3,000 people, I've never seen that happen. And I have never received that. So the Navy is pretty good with no bullying, with equal opportunity and that kind of stuff. Where were you born? I was born in South Korea. Alright guys, so I'm going to close it out here pretty soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for coming back, for those of you who came back. I'm going to talk to my girlfriend soon. I'm sure she's upset. When did you leave Korea? When I was 8 years of age, 2001. How much money should you have after boot camp? Christian, check out my video. How much money do you make after boot camp? It's one of my biggest videos. It's got like 250,000 views. Great, appreciate a lot of the help. You got it. What do you think about K-pop? K-pop's great. I have a pool. I can swim non-stop for 1 hour. Is that good? Yeah. So you're all right. You got this. So you might change. Okay. All right, guys. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna close it out. Talk to my girlfriend, and I hope you have a great Navy Day, guys.